The holiday season is a beautiful time for many, but it can also be one of the most emotionally challenging times, especially for our seniors. So, today we're going to talk about how we, as caregivers, family members, and healthcare professionals, can recognize their needs and truly support them through this season. So, coping through the holidays, supporting seniors with compassion and understanding. Why this matters. Holidays can be emotionally challenging for seniors. It can increase loneliness and isolation. It matters because they're at higher risk for depression and grief because of decreased mobility and health changes and the need for intentional support. So we're going to jump right in and acknowledge the emotional weight of this season in the caregiver's role. And sometimes they seem a little bit, agitated or grumpy, but this is more than just grumpiness. While the holidays are marked as a time of joy for seniors, they amplify feelings of loss and loneliness. 64% of people with mental health conditions report holidays make their conditions worse. Isolation is a major risk factor for depression in the elderly. This often triggered by the absence of a deceased spouse or deceased friend, loved one. The acronym SAD, which stands for Seasonal Affective Disorder, can compound these feelings due to shorter daylight hours. There are many different reasons that the holidays may affect the older individuals in a negative way. So some of those common triggers are grief and loss. Those memories of their loved ones who have passed away are sharper during the family-centric holidays. Physical limitations, inability to cook the big meals, decorate, or travel like they used to with family. There's been a change in their routine, disruptions to sleep, diet, and caregiver schedules can cause anxiety. Can be a financial strain, stress over buying gifts on a fixed income. More of those triggers are seasonal depression, feeling like a burden. A lot of our elderly population might feel like a burden because they have lost their sense of independence. Having to depend on someone puts a lot on them. So how do we recognize those warning signs? What do they look like? Some of them can be withdrawal. Is the client sleeping? Are they sleeping more than usual? Are they refusing to leave their room or participate in activities they normally enjoy? What about their appetite? As caregivers, we need to be watching these things. Appetite changes. Look for significant weight loss, refusal to eat, or conversely, excessive comfort eating, especially like sugary foods, because those tend to be comfort foods for a lot of people. Agitation, increased irritability, wringing hands, pacing, and expressing disproportionate worry about holiday preparations. More of those signs will be irritability, tearfulness, forgetful, or confusion. So, how do we go about helping them to process this? How do we be there to support them? So, we're going to go over a few different strategies. Strategy number one is validation. Goes back to that therapeutic communication that we talked about many trainings ago. It's okay not to be happy. Our instinct is often to cheer up a sad client, but this can actually make them feel unheard. When they're expressing themselves, don't be so quick to say, you're going to be fine, because you don't really know that they're going to be fine. They want to be heard. So try saying something like, I know this is a tough time for you this year, and it brings up a lot of memories. It makes sense that you miss your spouse. It makes sense that you miss your partner. It makes sense that you miss your loved ones right now. Listening without trying to fix the sadness is one of the most powerful tools that we as caregivers have. The second strategy is adapting traditions. Modify, don't cancel. So, complete abandonment of traditions can feel like a loss of identity. Instead, scale them down to be manageable. Like decorating instead of a 6 foot tree, decorate a small tabletop tree or hang a simple wreath. I know that whenever we were doing our rounds in the nursing home, a lot of the residents there, because they're either wheelchair bound, bed bound, they can't really get out, they have other ailments that's going on with them. A lot of them were able to assist them, assist the residents with some sort of decoration or a tree in there that they helped them decorate. They were able to get a small tabletop tree to put in their room. So things like that kind of helps them adapt to something new. Cooking. I know in a lot of the long-term care facilities, they have little activities like that that they can participate in. So, like baking a batch of cookies together instead of a full feast. Use pre-made dough, to simplify. Now, I don't know the situation or the circumstance for every healthcare worker that's going to be doing this training, but I do know that some have really, really good close relationships with that client, and that's a really good thing. It's establishing that trusting relationship, and they're so close to where they really do want them to feel better, so they actually would go out and get something like a batch of cookies or something, even if there's something that's baked already. A lot of times at the stores, like I know Walmart and Target, they have these blank cookies where it comes with everything that you need to decorate it. And I know a lot of the elderly love those. Even some of the kids like doing those. So even if it's something like that, that makes a lasting impression on our clients. The other thing is cards. Assist them in writing just 3 to 5 cards to their closest loved ones rather than the whole address book. I will never forget, I met this lady, I'll just say Jane Doe, one of the long-term care facilities. She does not have any relatives that come visit her. She doesn't have any kids. Most of her, I think all of her siblings and older cousins have passed away. And it was just very, very sad. But sad because I felt really bad for her because she doesn't have any family here. But she was in there. She's the happiest. So every now and then we will go in just to say hi. And oh my God, it made her day. And then she has a wall behind her, and she has all kind of cards and pictures on there that people that visit her, workers that brought it to her, and then some of the students, giving her some cards. But take your time, ask your residents or your clients, do you have any family members that live by, or have anybody that you would like to send a Christmas card to or a holiday card to, and just assist them in that process. Strategy number 3. Combating isolation, bridging that gap. So when family cannot visit in person, technology becomes a lifeline. As a home health aide, you can facilitate this connection. Tech support, set up the video call for them. Hold the tablet if their hands are shaky. Scheduling, coordinate with the family member to ensure calls happen at good times, like not during naps. And then community, research local senior centers offering holiday lunches or transport to religious services. Sometimes they're offering like senior bingo day or something like that. Those things also makes a lasting impression on them. And sometimes it's as simple as you dialing the phone number for them, or writing the numbers on a piece of paper or something and taping it on their phone if they still have landline phones, because sometimes the numbers on there are so small that their eyes are not that great. So if the numbers are bigger on there, they can see it better. But just going that extra mile, holding the phone or the tablet for them, I'm sure that they will appreciate that. Meaningful engagement. Low stress activity ideas. So focus on sensory activities that evoke nostalgia without requiring high cognitive effort or physical stamina. Music. Play holiday classic music from their era. Ask them about their favorite song. Music is deeply tied to memory. And I have this really cool, I think, interesting slide that I included in here from one of the studies that I did while I was in school. We did a music interpretation. It was really cool. It was called psychology, music psychology or something like that. But we'll get into that after this. But reminiscing, look through old photo albums. Ask open-ended questions like, tell me about this party or tell me about this time. Get them engaged. They love stuff like this because, again, they already feel isolated. They already feel alone. They feel like a burden. They feel like they're bothering somebody. But if you show just a little bit of interest, you have no idea how you will light up their world. And scents, the smell of pine, cinnamon, or like a bacon can instantly lifts their moods. It takes them back to a time, a happy time, something that they can remember and they can reminisce about for a minute. And then movies. Maybe ask them what's their movie, what's their favorite movie, or what's their holiday movie. Watch a classic holiday film together with them. Now, this next slide here that I threw in here about the music. Music plays a big role. It is strongly tied to memory, especially in the elderly, because it activates multiple brain areas that are often preserved even in advanced dementia. Music has the ability to bypass damaged brain regions. Unlike language, music is processed by many different parts of the brain, including those involved in emotion and long-term memory, which are often still functional in individuals even with dementia. It connects to strong emotions. Music's ability to evoke emotion is powerful, creating like a strong link to memories from a time, that they can remember. The songs were like first heard and enjoyed, and once they hear that, they can remember that, and it will take them back to that moment. And most of the time, you will get a happy response, and sometimes you'll get a sad response. But the good thing is that you were able to do something for them, and they remembered. So music affects people differently, but music stimulates those motor and cognitive functions. Research also shows that music, like the rhythm, significantly improves your gait and other motor functions compared to like them just normally walking, their normal self-paced movement. There was a patient that I remember, and she had trouble walking, but when you put music on, it's like all her cares and her problems went away. Her feet moved better. It's as if she did not have trouble walking. But when there was no music, she really could barely walk. Her gait was off. So anyway, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with music, but it can solve or at least help alleviate a lot of the stress and this grief and this isolation that our elderly population feel if we can just do one thing positive for them. And the most simplest thing is being there to support them and putting on a little music. This next slide is nutrition and health awareness. Maintaining a balance. The holidays often bring an abundance of rich foods and alcohol, which can destabilize health conditions. So sugar and salt, monitor the intake for diabetics and those with hypertension. Offer festive but healthy alternatives. There are a few alternatives that you can offer them versus the stuff that they have to avoid in their diet. Alcohol. Be aware of interactions with medications. I am not at all advocating for alcohol. Of course, we're in the healthcare profession, but I have been around some of the elderly population, and that's what they remember. I have one lady that specifically asked me for vodka. She has dementia, but that she remembers that because that was a happy time for her. She holds this picture that she always has. It's her and her friends having a good time, very happy, smiles on their face. But she loves a drink or two. She remembers that like it was yesterday. So we know that some of them have this in their homes, and I don't know what exactly you can or can't do because everybody's job is different whenever they're doing caring for their patients. Some people do private duty sitting. Some people just do sitting for agencies. But whatever it is, make sure you are operating within your scope of practice. Next thing is routine. Ensure medication schedules aren't forgotten amidst the holiday chaos or family visits. And the caregiver's role, what's our role? So becoming a compassionate presence. You may be the only person they see on the holiday itself. So your mood sets the tone. Presence over presence. Your undivided attention is the best gift. Sit with them, talk with them. Remember, they will probably tell you some things that they can't share with anybody else. We can hear it firsthand. Manage expectations. Don't force the cheer. If they want a quiet day, respond and respect that. If they want a quiet day, respect that. Observation. Hear the eyes and the ears. So report any concerns of depression to the family. And you have to take care of yourself. Caring for yourself, for the caregiver. You matter too. So working during these holidays can be emotionally draining. You cannot support your client if you are running on empty. So some healthy boundaries. It's okay to say no to the extra shifts if you need rest. Take your allocated breaks. Step outside for some fresh air. Acknowledge your own feelings of missing family or your feelings of stress. Easing financial anxiety. So the presence over presence. Many Many seniors feel deep shame or stress about not being able to afford gifts for their growing families due to fixed incomes. So, some creative ideas, the legacy letter. So, encourage them to write a letter sharing life lessons or favorite memories. This is I absolutely love this. How many times we are getting together cooking, or you are in your kitchen cooking, or you're thinking about something and you're like, man, I wish I would have been in the kitchen with grandma trying to get this recipe. Some people are fortunate to have a recipe box that their grandparents left for them, or their great aunt or whatever left for them. Some people don't have that. This reminds me of that same thing. What I wouldn't give to have a letter from my grandparents with words of encouragement, words of wisdom on there. I think this is so important. So encourage them to write a letter, sharing some life lessons or favorite memories. Gifting a book, like a piece of jewelry or photo they already own as immense sentimental values. Because remember, they are feeling isolated, they're feeling like a burden, and they probably can't get out as they would normally get out. They're on a fixed income and they want to buy gifts, but maybe they can't think, they don't, their cognitive thinking is not there. Maybe they can't think as quickly. Maybe you can just offer them some suggestions. What about a book? Do you have I know that you want to buy gifts, but can you maybe just write a card or write a letter? What about a book? Is it something you already have in your house that you can, give to them? Or what about a photo? They already own these things. So this is not you telling them what to do, because again, we don't want to come off as that person. But this is just you being there to support them and to get them to adapt to their situation around them, that they already, things that they already have there. Recipes, writing out famous family recipes, as I mentioned before, on recipe cards. Those are like the best treasures for the younger generation. Spiritual comfort at home. Faith as an anchor. For many in this generation, faith is central to the holidays. Mobility issues that prevent attending services can cause deep spiritual distress. Now there are virtual services. You can't make it to church, there are virtual services available. Help them find a live stream of their specific place of worship. A lot of them don't know that that is an option. So remember, sit with them, talk with them. Do you go to church? What church do you go to? And sometimes they haven't been, to church in forever because of what's going on with them. Maybe they can't get out the house. Maybe they don't have any, transportation, but they don't realize that there's some live streaming available. You going that extra mile. And dress for the occasion. I have one of my friends, residents. She gets dressed every Thursday. Now she's in a long-term care facility, but she gets dressed every Thursday as if she is still going out and hang with her girlfriends. And all they're doing is, she's doing is going to the next room to play bingo. But she gets dressed every time, which I think it's so cute. So encourage them to dress up for the virtual service to make it feel special and respectful. Reading aloud. If their eyesight is failing, offer to read a scripture, hymns, or holiday stories to them. Navigating family visits. The caregiver as a buffer. Family visits can be joyful, but they can also be overwhelming. They can be noisy or intense. Your role is to maintain the senior's well-being during this chaos. Manage the fatigue. Watch for signs of exhaustion. It is okay to advocate, hey, mom needs a 15-minute rest in her room right now. Mom needs a nap. Mom needs about 30 minutes to an hour in her room right now. Create a sanctuary. Ensure there is a quiet, door closed space they can retreat to if the noise of grandkids is or even pets, if those noises are too much. Beating the January blues. So the post-holiday crash, when the decorations come down and the visitors leave, silence returns. The drop of dopamine can be severe in January. So slow, this would be like a slow takedown. Don't remove all cheer at once. If you are one of those that help remove decorations, don't help them remove it all at once. Leave up the winter lights, to keep the home bright. Immediate routine will be reestablish that normal daily schedule immediately to provide a sense of security. Family has been in town. Maybe you haven't been able to sit with your client or checking your client as often because the family was there. But that family's going to leave. That family's going to go back to their homes. So once that happens, take things slowly, day by day, and make sure that you are returning back to that normal schedule. Make sure that they're taking their medications on time. Make sure that they're doing their naps on time. Everything that they were doing before, make sure that they resume that. And then let's think about the future. After all of this, what are you able to do? Are you able to do something fun with them at home? Are you able to take them to a restaurant? Are you able to take them to bingo? Something that they can look forward to. Now, it's time for the best part, which is the review. So, let's test your knowledge. So question number 1. When a client is expressing sadness or difficulty during the holiday season, what is the primary communication strategy recommended, and what is an example of what you should say? And the answer is the primary recommended strategy is validation, which is strategy number 1. And the goal is to listen without trying to fix the sadness or force cheer. Question number 2. The slides emphasize caring for the caregiver. Name 2 specific self-care actions or strategies recommended to prevent burnout while working during the holidays. And the answer is 1. Boundaries. It is okay to say no to extra shifts. It's okay to say no to extra shifts if you need rest and to step outside for fresh air when necessary. And number 2 is your perspective. Take your breaks and acknowledge your own feelings of stress or missing your own family members or traditions. And that is the end of our training. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Enjoy your holiday.